This report brought to you by the Richmond Club, where investors and high-growth companies meet.
Our next speaker is the CEO and Executive Chairman of Next Green Wave. Please welcome Mr. Leigh Hughes.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Not from Canada, not from North America. So if you can't, if you want me to slow down because of my accent, just put your hand up because sometimes people are okay. So thanks for having me. So we're an American-based cannabis company in California, the biggest market in cannabis in the world. A little bit about who we are. So basically, we are a fully integrated seed-to-consumer cannabis company that has all the licenses from seed, being the nursery, all the way through to distribution, making sure that products actually ultimately get on into consumers' hands. Our value proposition is pretty simple, and it's probably not one that most cannabis companies use, but we're here to be the #1 cannabis consumer product goods company in California. So effectively, my background, a lot of my team's background is consumer product goods, working with the likes of Unilever and Procter & Gamble. So we are very much utilising their value proposition, which is to dominate consumer product goods across the different verticals that make up cannabis. Why California? Well, effectively, California is the biggest market in the world as a state. If you think about the size of what cannabis globally is going to be by 2020, 2030, the numbers are astronomical, and they're growing every day. But if you think about the fact that beer sales in California this year will be surpassed by cannabis sales, and it's only just gone recreationally legal, it's pretty astonishing. And that is because, of course, recreational and medical cannabis is two pretty big markets. We're located halfway between LA and San Francisco in a place called Coalinga, which you've probably never heard of before, but it's one of the largest citrus farming areas in the West. So I think they've probably been growing cannabis there for decades in amongst all those fruit trees, but now that it's legal, it's enabling people to actually come out and grow it properly. Like I said to you before, we are a seed-to-consumer model. So essentially what we want to be able to do is control everything from the nursery or the tissue culture aspect of the industry right the way through to products entering people's homes or shelves. And why is that? And that's because we are sticking to the premium end of the market. So if you think about wines, we're wanting to be the gold label in the wine market. We don't really want to be the high volume, low margin side of consumer product goods. We have 15 acres of land that we own, 7 licenses, 4 facilities, 8 brands and 45 products. So there's not many companies in the United States right now that would have what we have. On the West Coast, especially where it's a very fragmented regulatory environment, we were very fortunate to be able to get all licenses from the nursery right the way through to distribution, which is quite phenomenal. And as of last week, Thursday last week, we announced that we were officially into production, whereby our first building, which I'll show you in a second, got turned on. If you recognise a lot of the industry in Canada, a big milestone for most of the companies was that their actual licence became real and that they were actually able to grow something, which meant that you become a real company and you can actually start to report revenue. So up until that point, last year was a very big year for us to build out. We started our fundraising for our company as a private company late 2017. We were private until October of last year when we went public. We did the non-traditional we didn't do the traditional RTOs like you guys in Canada like to do. We stuck with a more conventional compliance listing, which people said we were crazy because we had American assets and there's obviously the regulatory issues down there, but we stuck to our guns and we went public in October as the first company with Australian assets doing a compliance listing on the CSE. And what have we done since then? Well, we've increased our shareholder base from 400 when we went public to nearly 3,000 5 months later without really doing much marketing or promotion because we wanted to wait till we were actually be able to meet the 2 main checkpoints, which is to be in production and also be in revenues. Key milestones for us is in 2019 we and I'll go through these in a second, but just to give you a bit of an overview on the different pillars of our business. So one of our value propositions is to also become a world-class nursery, and that brand here in Trexon, and Trexon's listed on the NASDAQ. They're a 1.5 billion market cap company that are commercialising their tissue culture technology in a number of different agricultural products across the world. They're a very big company, biotech company, and obviously them not looking at utilising their technologies in the cannabis space would be crazy considering the size of the marketplace. They chose Next Green Wave as a 60 million market cap company to partner with in a research and development project to look at their Botticelli platform and seeing if that can be utilised across cannabis. What does that mean for us? Well, what that means for us is I can actually sit here today and tell you guys that, you know, us having that value proposition to be a world-class nursery is real and not something that we're just striving to achieve. Being able to validate ourselves as having world-class genetics, having a world-class grower, and Michael Jennings, who's our operations officer, who's, and this is something, believe it or not, but is a 6-time Cannabis Cup winner. You know, he's in the Seed Bank Hall of Fame and got one of the top seed banks of all time. That really validates him. He's a third generation, we call him citrus farmer still because that's what we want to call him. But, you know, obviously understands cannabis pretty granularly. We're really excited about this platform. We only announced this a couple of months ago, and we had to announce it pretty softly because, of course, they're a NASDAQ company and have to abide by federal law. We wanted to see how their shareholder base would react to the fact that Trexon got involved in cannabis, and I think their market cap went up $300 million in a week. So they're pretty excited about it. Our research project with them starts in about 8 weeks. They're actually moving infrastructure into one of our facilities at their own cost and investing a couple of $1 million into technology and staff. But what this actually does for us is it enables us to make cultivars or genetics in the industry become clean, pathogen-free, disease-free, pesticide-free. So if you think about alcohol back in the moonshine days when it converted into being ex-prohibition, there are a lot of things out there that people were drinking that weren't probably the things that were great for their bodies. It's pretty much similar to cannabis, to be honest. The industry or the framework globally want to be able to make cannabis legal, but make it legal in a way so that when consumers are digesting products, it's safe. So if we can, and we believe that we can, take Botticelli platform across tissue culture and make it clean, pathogen and disease-free genetics, we can effectively have every single licensed producer in the world become a client of ours. And they'll do it because if you think about the likes of some of the big players in Canada that have now seen that having a 1 million square foot grow space isn't easy to grow because of microclimates and things called spider mites, etc. They would absolutely jump on this technology and become a client of ours. So we're really excited about this. That's our cultivation facility, which that was about 8 weeks ago. Our building opened last week, so we've got to upgrade that picture. But that's the first of 4 facilities that we've got to build, or expansion size we have to build. We put $10 million US into this building, and if you walk in there, it's cleaner than a hospital. To the point where biocontamination and biosecurity is extremely high. We're very cognizant of our premium brand and premium label, so we want to make sure that we maintain and contain our standard operating procedures to be able to make sure that what we put out in the shelves coming is very good. Extraction, so of course ultimately we feel that the space is going to become a lot more than just growing flower. All the downstream products that make up extraction, we have both of the licenses being volatile and non-volatile, which means that we can do all product types under our one facility. We will produce a lot of different types of downstream products for the medical and recreational side, which will come out of our extraction facility. And then, of course, distribution. So we do have another proposition that we say internally is that we want to own the highways. And being where we are in Coalinga, we have the ability to penetrate products across California seamlessly. Versus being just north or south, we can actually get our brands out into the marketplace. So we also did a pretty interesting deal with another private Colombian company that's going to be going private in 2019 called Organic Medical Growth. Why did we do that? So the laws in the United States right now are obviously state-based. It's state regulatory. Different states have different regulatory frameworks. Federally, it's illegal. when the walls come down, we believe that working and partnering with countries that can create high volume, low margin export capacity is where we want to be. Effectively, if we want to be able to put brands on the shelf at will, we want to be able to also control some of our supply, but also be able to control price. So we done a deal with Organic Medical Growth, which will enable us to actually increase our distribution significantly. So this is where we really want to cut our teeth, and that is through brands. So 2 months ago, we acquired a company for 27 million Canadian, 90% in stock, 10% in cash. What comes with them is 8 brands and 45 products. Each one of these brands are actually very famous people in the digital and social world. Kerry Hart is Pink, if you know who Pink is, I'm sure you all do. Pink's husband, he's got a very high, big reach in the action sports arena. King Louis, everyone's probably heard of Kanye West, is Kanye West's producer and is an Grammy award-winning artist. He's got his own vertical of his own. Loki the wolf dog. Well, yes, there is a wolf, a half wolf, half husky on social media that has 2 million followers. Believe it or not, is a dog that is followed all over the world. We've put a CBD pet line. That was the first brand that we put out 4 weeks ago, and we sold a product every 10 seconds. We sold out within, I think it was 11 hours, which is not a bad problem to have. And then we've got a whole range of other products as well. So this brand portfolio for us gives us a reach of over 25 million consumers on social media, and it's actually had over 1 billion YouTube views between them. We believe that direct-to-consumer marketing is where it's at. Most of our team are brand activists. We know how to put products on the shelf. We know how to sell. We know how to market. We know how to brand. We know what it means to be able to take market trends and create products out of them, and we're really excited by it. Our cap structure is, we listed in October. We've been pretty consistent price-wise along the ways. We believe that revenue generation is what's going to really resonate with people here. From full ramp-up, which is about 12 weeks away, we'll do anywhere from 25 to 35 million in revenue in the first 12 months. And we're a 60 million market cap company. If you start taking the multiples of what exists in Canada and even some of the bigger US companies, we're definitely a smoking gun. And I think it's probably a testament to the company of, we got 7 institutions invested in our company when we were private, and are still sitting on our roster today. And we've been very much all about looking after our cash burn, building out our assets. We own all our assets, and making sure that when it comes to this exciting time as at now, we can actually get new investors coming in and going, well, we can see a very good multiple here, and potentially even this company being an acquisition target for some of the big conglomerates. I think it's probably opportunistic that Canopy acquired acreage, or seek to acquire acreage last week for $3.8 billion, which is obviously a Canadian company going and taking a swing at the US. We believe that we'd like to try and be one of those companies or be an acreage in the future. So that's just a little bit about our company. I appreciate your time, and I'm sure you guys have all heard about multiple cannabis companies and get decks on your desk every day, but we hopefully would like to think that we're one of the most unique ones out there. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this video, please let us know. You've been watching the Richmond Club Report. If you've just come across this channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm sure you'll find a lot of interesting and lucrative investment and trading ideas around here. We'll see you again soon on the next video. Cheers, guys. Have an amazing and profitable day.